In this video, we're going to be looking at different types of data. Okay, so we use data all the time, especially with the use of internet and social media. Data gets used a lot, and with the Olympics coming up, we sort of use that data all the time. But we want to make sure we know the different types of data. So I'm going to do this flowchart for you and explain the different types as we go through. And we start off with data, and then we have two subsets of that. And the first type of data is what we call numerical. Okay, we have numerical data and we also have categorical data. Now, another way to use a different term for that might be quantitative data and qualitative data. So you want to think of it more as, so if you're using these words as an example, your numerical basically means numbers. Okay, so we're using numbers for this type of data. And the other one is categories, and it's sort of qualitative. It's like a quality of something, and this usually uses words. Okay, so we have numerical or quantitative, which uses numbers, and we also have categorical or qualitative, which uses words. So things like it's put into categories, boys, girls, male, female, eye color type, hazel, blue, green, etc. So it's kind of categorical stuff. Now the numerical stuff is also separated into two different parts as well. And the first one is what we call discrete. Okay, it's called discrete numerical data, and we also have continuous. Okay, we also have continuous data. So discrete and continuous. Now these two can get kind of tricky, so I'm going to explain quickly what they both mean, and it's an easy way for us to remember. So you want to think of discrete as that it can be counted. So they're both using values or numbers, but they're sort of done in a different way. Okay, so discrete data can be counted, and that means that there's a certain value for each thing. For example, the numbers on a die. If you roll a die, the numbers on that can only be counted. It's got to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Where continuous data is data that is usually measured. So something like your height. Okay, so if you say someone's height, that can be measured along a big continuous, it can be anything. Okay, it can be 1.4566. Okay, so it's sort of a continuous data. It can be measured, where the discrete data is usually counted and it's a specific variable. So an example of that would be if you wanted to maybe count the number of, the question was how many boys in a class, that's something that can be counted. But if they said what was the height of those boys, that would be continuous data because it's something that is measured. So as we look through here, it's important that you understand the different types of data. Again, we have numerical and categorical. Make sure you have those definitions and the different words for them as well. And also that you understand the difference between discrete and continuous numerical data. We're going to move on and look at sort of how we interpret or represent this data, but we'll get at that at a later point. Thanks, guys.